Welcome back. Welcome back, Oslo audience. Of course, also welcome back, Stockholm and online audiences. Our next session will focus on the collaborative process used on the biggest infra project in Norway in the last 20 years, Fornebu and Fornebuporten metro stations in Oslo. It will cover how full integration of BIM and cloud allowed seamless collaboration and showcase how BIM facilitated complex design elements and the importance of information attached to them. From A-Lab, here is Angie Mendez, and from Zaha Hadid Architects, here is Zrinka Radic.
Thank you, John. So today we present project Fornebubanen by Zaha Hadid Architects with A-Lab and PGF. Well, Zaha tracked record of success on 40 years in practice with 71 buildings completed across 20 countries. Currently, we're working on 90+ projects around the globe, with almost 40 at an advanced stage or under construction. We've been actively working in the Nordics on various projects, from master plan, transportation projects, sports centers, culture buildings. And we're really happy to present the two metro stations in Oslo for the Fornebu line. The Fornebu line project is a new metro extension in a continuous tunnel system between Majorstuen and Fornebu Peninsula. Zaha and A-Lab, together with PGF for FOB, has been designing the two stations out of 6, Fornebu and Fornebuporten. The Fornebu station is also the final station on the line, and it aims to become an architecture attraction with this emergent urban development. The design is inspired by how Norway's landscape has been shaped by pressure and currents of water and wind and glaciers for thousands of years. We took the inspiration from these natural forces, and the design is using the landscape as a unifying element, shaping spaces and movement for people. The Fornebu Railway can be seen as an underground river that connects places and individuals. It results in a concept that is robust, urban, but very simple, with a strong architectural identity tied to the context. Then this underground landscape is creating spaces and shaping entrances and platforms, creating new focal points in the urban environment with a strong identity, at the same time creating a very poetic connection with Norwegian landscape heritage. This is the image of our Pavilion B entrance and the Pavilion A from the competition. On this site plan, you can see our station and base, which is a large technical and admin area, and is also, since the final station is where trains stop and go to sleep. This is also the largest construction site of all Fornebubanen projects. The station has 1 above and 3 underground stories. The pavilions A and B are entrances. On this image, you can see an intermediate phase, so without the surrounding buildings, of Pavilion A, current design, and Pavilion B. The interiors are designed as a very bright and open spaces, very easy to navigate and create a sense of security for the travelers. The finishes mostly range with gray shades with some darker notes, creates very clean and warm environment for all the users. Here you can see some of the renders. The platform. So the platform design is actually inspired by how underground glacier caves, where these white vaulted ceilings curve down and then reflect the stone bed below. So these curvilinear shapes of the walls are generated by sculpting a geometrical sphere out of a tunnel rectangular shape. So then this volume becomes a multitude of intersecting geometries and suggests a modern interpretation of this natural glacier formation. Then these vaults curve down to places to become columns, and meet the stone platform surface below. The vaults have been rationalized, resulting in only 3 circles with different radius and a symmetrical axis for repetition. On the other hand, the Fornebuporten station has 2 very contrasting personalities: an urban environment, center of commerce and technology, and a natural environment. So these 2 very strong opposites are representing in the station's entrance design, and they are represented by a simple square and a circle. This station aims to create an experience in a cold place like Oslo through color and movement of light. So the 3 main features of designs are clear orientation, physical and mental well-being, and a sense of wonder. The concept of sky below, an underground sky, is based on the fact that light with the right color temperature has on human psychological and biological processes. So during the time spent on the platform, person's senses are being bathed with this modulated light. Their biological body clock is being reset back to the original circadian rhythm, and the mood is being improved. So here you can also see the presence of the blend between the square and the circle. So you can always tell at which part of which end of the entrance you are. This lighting system is also simulating sun's movement, so during the day, so the experience is never going to be the same because it's matching the exact position of the sun above. So you're being 20 meters below the ground watching the sun while you're just waiting for the metro to arrive. It's quite an experience. This image we wanted to show the 2 entrances from the competition in 2019. And current design, the concept remains the same, but it has been quite rationalized. We were really happy to have the full support of the client throughout all the stages, and we're still very happy with the result. But the collaboration of this project was really essential, because the project is organized by Oslo Fornebubanen, who is our client, Zaha Hadid Architects and A-Lab, and then PGF, which is Multiconsult and COWI. We were also working with Jason Bruce Studio and Big Analysis. So since we are located in 2 different countries, our coordination meetings usually take a lot of time. So how can we reduce these meetings, make them more efficient, and also reduce our carbon footprint by traveling less and doing everything remotely? That's why we needed CDE. And in our case, this was BIM 360, a place and single source of information to manage all the graphical and non-graphical data. So the process and the project information is always available in real time in BIM 360 docs. It's very transparent, everyone can access the information. At the same time, the design team can sync their model through BIM 360 design directly to BIM 360. So it guarantees that the latest information is always there. On this snapshot, you can see the amount of information that we have, very complex stakeholder picture, interfaces with the current metro and tram, soil conditions. So it makes this project really one of the most challenging transport projects in Norway in modern time. And the interaction was essential. You can see the type of data we have, the tunnels of all the station, the point cloud data, the terrain and rock formation, the area for the intervention, the train tracks and gauge, the master planning, the roads, and the architecture. In terms of BIM, process model control is done through status. So it's a very important property that each element, in order to go to next stage, needs to be coordinated with other disciplines. Now we'll see how we did this coordination. We all know that BIM can decrease cost and time, but if we manage these issues inefficiently with a PDF and spreadsheet, we can lose a lot of time. That's why we use BCF, an open bin format that is designed to define views of a model and its information on collisions or errors. Then these issues can be opened in any authoring tool, whether it's Revit, Tekla, or a viewer, and then they take you right to the issue of the element. So here you can see how we do our checks. We use Navisworks or Solibri to federate all the models. Then we do the checks. We either run clash detection or just general visual checks. Once we find the issue, we don't have to send emails and screenshots. We can just assign it, describe it, assign milestones, priorities, and it's all at the same place. So here you can see how we're doing it. And then it's always available immediately in the authoring tool and is ready for immediate check and correction. These issues are always available on the web, so we can make reports, get graphs, and we use this in our coordination meetings to check the process. In terms of architectural design workflow, we always work between Rhino and Revit because Rhino is helping us to work with complex geometry, and then the data is applied in Revit for a model for construction. Here you can see just one of the federated model of FBP station and the amount of disciplines that we were coordinating with, and some snaps from the platforms and from the entrances. Data and parameters are crucial for this project because we have a certain number of bespoke parameters that our client gave us, and they increase at each stage, define higher and higher level of detailing. This data also includes Norwegian classification codes to automate basis for specification. So we apply the data in Revit, then through IFC goes to our consultants program, IC-beskrivelse, which the elements are organized by data, go into folders, and then a final specs PDF is submitted. It's very important to know that this is a paperless project, so by contract, we're not supposed to produce drawings apart from some exceptions for tender and planning. Therefore, we developed these 3D call-out models for our special, most precious architectural parts, and they're all also delivered in a BIM model. And here you can see some of the snaps of the platforms. Now I will pass you to Angie for a virtual experience.
Beautiful presentation and beautiful architecture. Everything that Zrinka showed us today is not only concepts, but it has been already realized in the digital environment. So today we're going to try to, instead of showing you a perfect off-the-shelf video that looks like a perfect product, we're going to try to have a demo live with my colleagues in the office. I should probably let them know that we're starting. Where's my phone? I said nobody gets into the room because it will be too loud. And we have a station for you, Zrinka. Always put your mask first, right? So here you just adjust it until it feels comfortable. And let's see. We don't need to save this now. I can see them there, so I'm not alone. And then again, you know, we talk about collaboration all the time, but what is interesting for us is that distance and borders, it's not a thing anymore. It's 2023, right? So I'm going to do, to the best of my ability, try not to move my head too much so you guys don't get seasick. But the experience, when it's immersive, is much nicer, so just come around if you want to test it yourself afterwards. Hello there. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, hey. Yes.
Are you...
It's fine.
Do you see only black?
I don't see anything.
All right.
Black, but go on.
All right. Hello. Welcome to our presentation. Here's the audience. Let me introduce you to the team. This is my personal friends and colleagues, Jonas and Ingrid. They are working actively in the Fornebubanen station. And Madhouse, our BIM manager, they are joining us from the office in Skøyen. So as you can see, this could be basically anywhere in the world and real time. We are right now in a platform called VREX, which is social VR. It allows for multi-users. And as you can see by the graphics, this is not really a visualization model. It doesn't have a render engine. It's built around collaboration and BIM. So it's all about staying connected with all the disciplines. Let's take a look from above so I can show you a little bit how this model is built up. Oh, okay. We're on the top of a building. Let me get to the edge. Ingrid, are you okay? She's not a big fan of heights. All good?
I'm moving away.
Do that. So you can see the model from here. This model, it's made out of a lot of different parts. It's about 20 different models. I can turn off the context and the regulation projects just for you to get a sense of the stations that Zrinka just showed you. So this is the station. As you can see, this model could be experienced from the level of the infrastructure, as well as for how the architecture melts within the urbanism, and nevertheless going all the way into the station level and down to the 3D details that Zrinka was mentioning. So if we put this into the context, we could actually see the station in the frame of the entire Fornebubanen, which is a lot of large data. As you know, we are working in 2 different stations. This is the final station, and we are also part of Fornebuporten. Jonas, would you mind showing us which one it is? Yeah, that's right. That's Fornebuporten.
It's the other one.
Mm-hmm. And down here we have the end station. So this could be seen, the Fornebubanen project could be seen as the river underground. And it's going to be made out of meeting places and, of course, flows of people. But it's let's go back to the station so we can see it in the context, because this river underground is going to be under a lot of very expensive properties. So for us, it was crucial to be able to see not only the project, but what is the existing situation. And that would allow us to really identify where is the potential and the need for transformation and intervention. So you can see here, this is the context. Down here, you can see our beloved, you recognize this building? Our beloved Equinor building. So there we have the 2 stations. Yeah, we can keep the landscape. It'll help us see where we are. And in this model, we can look at what is going to be demolished, just to get a sense of the existing situation. And then again, for where it's necessary more precision, we have a collection of point clouds.
And they're not showing. Oh, now yes.
Don't be impatient, Zrinka.
Yeah.
Here it is. Yeah, so everything that is red here, it's what originally was planned as to be demolished. And you can see the point clouds. They are kind of not granular enough, but it's so large data that just for you to be able to see it, we keep them like that. But isn't it true, Jonas, that most of these buildings have already been demolished?
All the red ones have, yes.
Yeah, so if you go to Fornebu, probably you will see just one huge hole at the moment. But the cool thing is that we can remove everything that is existing when the intervention has been decided, and then start bringing in instead the upcoming projects. And this is an entire new district that is being conceived as we speak. So we have our 2 stations, and then there is a large quadrant called, how is it called, guys? It has a cool name. Coxa Quartal, I think. And it's going under regulation on a lot of processes, but if we can maybe see it in the context, you can see how the stations are an integrated part of these new public spaces. We can maybe get a little bit closer so you can see more clearly. You guys are too close. So we have our pavilion A and our pavilion B down there. If we go down to the user level, this is a very privileged site because it has a landscape that falls down into the fjord. So it was a big opportunity for us to integrate that natural terrain within the architecture. So we can just go to the user point of view, which is a big advantage of working in VR because you can move around from the user perspective to a more engineering approach. So you can see here how the terrain will follow the architecture. And then here we have on the other side, let me adjust my position slightly. Over there, we have the other entrance. So if we turn off the context to try to focus on the pavilions again, you can see, yeah?
This is your 2-minute left agreed upon time. I'm sorry, I'm not invited to the team meeting in the VR setting, so I have to do this IRL, okay?
All
so
right.
2 minutes, thank you.
Thank you. I told you not to scare me and grab me from the back, so thanks for that. Okay, so you can see here how this integrates within the environment. I'm going to bring my colleagues here so we can get a sense of... Mateus, would you do me a favor and create the scale model so we can see the same geometry, but in a different scale, so Jonas can tell us a little bit about the functionality?
Sure.
The beauty of the... Okay, you scaled yourself. Now we can look at it together. So you can go back and forward. Let's remove the context now that we see where we are. So they can understand this is the station and the tracks. Jonas, can you tell us a little bit about what's the beauty of the base?
Yep. So you have the station here, and just adjacent to it, we have the base. This huge area here will serve as the overnight parking for the trains, as well as the cleaning, both externally and internally. And over here, we have the workshop for maintenance of the trains. So no base, no Fornebubanen, I guess.
Fair enough. That's where the trains go to sleep, like Zrinka said. Okay, Mateus, take us to the section. Maybe we can just jump through the section that we saw in the PDF to see it working live. What is very important for us is that we can go one level deeper into the interdisciplinary coordination of the station itself, and then we can discuss just exactly as we are doing now with all the consultants involved in the project. And remember that for us as architects, the VR is becoming just the third screen, right? Where we can just get a call quickly and come inside a model and discuss things quickly. So we can just look at this section. That will be the last thing we will show you today since we're running a little bit out of time. But here we have the complete model. So Mateo is going to make a section to show us how all of this looks together. And you can see this is live data, right? And it's all based in BIM. So we have the opportunity here to real-time cut through things and discuss things with our consultants, turn on and off different models and so on. I'm going to take you quickly inside the station. And just for you to know that the possibilities are unlimited, and for us it's very important that we give the opportunity to everybody to have this democratic discussion of where everybody is engaged and feels included. And so the conversation is smarter and the project is better. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Come here to say goodbye. Not you guys, my people. You. Thank you so much for being here. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.